Yo, what up, fam? What's the deal? Happy Friday, happy Freedom Friday. What's the deal? What's going on? Peace and love. It is Friday. We love Fridays. We've always loved Fridays. Fridays have always been a great day. As long as I've been alive, as long as everybody I spoke to has been alive, Friday has been a great day, whether it's the end of the work week, the end of the school week, whether it's a certain breakfast or meals in prison, right? Fridays have always been good, and Fridays are still good. Today is Friday. It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It is absolutely beautiful. Let us pull up these other outlets for live. We are already live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are going live on IG and TikTok right over here. Peace and love. Happy Friday. Happy Freedom Friday. What's the deal? What's going on, good people? Peace and love. Happy Friday. What's going on, good people? It's your boy, LaShawn Sugar Ray Marston. You are tuned into episode 328 of SR Daily as we wrap up this week 67. I think this is week 67. This is week 67 on SR Daily, man. We've been around a long time, a lot of weeks, over a year, almost 70 weeks. This is week 66 of SR Daily. It is an absolutely beautiful week. We are making progress every single day that we continue to wake up, continue to push forward, continue to live our dreams. All right, this is the dream. The dream is waking up and living life how you want to live life. That is the dream. Nothing else, right? It is something else, right? It is the ability to travel, the ability to provide for your family and all of those things. But to just wake up and live life on your terms, right? Like that is a big part of the dream, man. There are a lot of people who have financial freedom, but they don't have time freedom. They're not able to live life how they choose. They're not able to do the things that they want to do. They don't have the time. Right, they got to constantly work. They got to constantly be doing. They got to constantly be busy. One thing I mentioned in my meditations this week, right, in my guided meditations, to the young people and to the grief support group yesterday, was that spring comes. Right, spring is here. As the season changes and it gets warmer outside, and more people are outside, and there's going to be more things to do. We are all going to be pulled and called to do more things. To do more things. However, it is the being. It is the being that is most important. How are you being? What are you being? All right. How are you showing up for yourself? That is the most important. And so on this Friday, as we like to call Freedom Friday, all right, Friday is the day that I was released from prison. On a Friday, March 9th, 2007. I'm about to say March 7th, 2009. It gets a little confusing because one of my homeboys was released March 7th, 2009. Right. He was locked up with me. Guy from, I think it was from the Bronx. I was locked up. My release date was March 9th, 2007. His release date was March 7th, 2009. Right. So I kind of get those dates mixed up. And obviously that is a sign right now. I haven't said that publicly that I got those dates mixed up, but that's a sign that I hope the brother is doing well. We did not exchange contact. I think we did, but I think the number I reached out to, his family's number, by the time I reached out to it, had changed. So I don't know how the brother's doing. His name was, I believe, Rasheen. And I think that's how we connected, because I was like, one of my best friends' name is Rasheen, right? My boy ASAP from my building, Queensbridge, my brother. But yo, what's going on? Let's get this thing started. Once again, I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Ray Marston. You are tuned into episode 328 of SR Daily. SR Daily, with personality meets enlightenment. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. right here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and TikTok Live. I love doing this show. It is a great resource. It's a great way for me to start my day. This has not always been comfortable for me to be consistent like this, to talk to the public, right? I did not grow up a public speaker. I took speech classes and I took speaking classes, and because I wanted to get better, right? I wanted to get better because I was terrible. I was nervous. I would stutter over my words. Sometimes I still stutter or stammer, right? I get a little tongue-tied. I talk fast, so sometimes you're not able always to hear my words, hear what I'm saying. But I love the show. I love you guys. Peace and blessings, Sister Mecca. Happy Friday. Sending you love, light, and good vibes as always, my sister, my sister, my sister. Thank you for tuning in. And we are going to get the show started. If you can, hit the share button. Share this live with 5 to 10 of your friends who may be interested in tuning in. And let us get this thing rolling with our first segment of the day. Today's first segment is the phrase of the day. Again, we had some heavy news this week, man. She has some tough news on the show. This phrase is a funny phrase. I hope that it brings some humor to you guys. And the phrase is, and then we're going to talk about it after. The phrase is, ain't nobody got time for that. 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 I don't know if you guys remember, but this phrase is golden. This phrase is golden. I woke up in a great mood. I woke up feeling amazing. Most times I wake up feeling amazing. But today I woke up feeling looser, right? As I mentioned, I was still tired earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was still very, very tired from the weekend, all right? 2 events on the weekend, a lot of moving around, a lot of thought energy, right? Just a lot of energy, and not just the weekend, but the previous few weeks leading up to my events the weekend, the birthday event, then the business launch. It was a lot, and so I was very tired. But this morning I woke up, and I didn't go to sleep super early. I went to sleep like after 1 o'clock. Right, but I woke up like refreshed. I woke up rejuvenated. I woke up vibrant. I woke up ready. I guess I got my mojo back. Right, I guess I got my swagger back, as they say. But ain't nobody got time for that, man. Listen, this phrase is golden. Y'all might remember Sweet Brown from a few years ago. The sister Sweet Brown took the world by storm, took the internet by storm. Sweet Brown said, "Ain't nobody got time for that." The sister was caught up. I forgot where it was. I think it was VA or somewhere like that, somewhere like South, if I'm not mistaken. But there was a fire, right, in the apartment complex, and the news reporters, they were interviewing people, and they interviewed her, and she spoke about the fire. She said, "It was a fire," and I ran out the house. I ain't grabbed no shoes or nothing. She said, "Because ain't nobody got time for that." And then they remixed the phrase. They made the phrase into a song. That's why you gotta love us. You gotta love black people, man. We gonna find the humor in everything. We're gonna remix everything. We're gonna make a song out of everything. And it ain't nobody got time for that. They made a dance. They put the video together. Absolutely incredible. They remixed it. They brought it back. Ain't nobody got time for that. Funny phrase, but real phrase, because in all of our lives, if I'm being honest, and if I'm not the only one, we are all having thoughts or engaging in activity that we shouldn't have time for. We got goals, and we got ambitions, and we got dreams. And yes, life is to be lived, but it's to be built. It's to be built. And so a lot of us, again, myself included, entertain thoughts, right? Not as much as I used to, but I definitely sometimes will entertain thoughts and engage in activity that I should have that phrase. I should have that energy that ain't nobody got time for that. We ain't got time for the complaining, right? If we ain't where we want to be, as speaking to the men, if we ain't where we want to be financially, right? If we have children, we ain't where we want to be in our children's lives, right? Like certain things we shouldn't have time for. We shouldn't have time for engaging in the BS, right? We shouldn't have time for just the lollygagging. And now that's a fine line, because you can't just be depressed. Some things don't change overnight, right? Some situations you can't snap a finger and it's different, right? So you gotta live, but a lot of times we distracting ourselves. That's the God honest truth. A lot of times we are distracting ourselves, if we're going to be honest. And it's a time for it, right? I understand, right? Like, I understand you want to be distracted, because thinking about those things or working on those things could be draining, could be disheartening, could be depressing, right? Could be frustrating, irritating, and all of those things. I get it. But it got to come a time when we say we ain't got time for that. We got no time for the excuses. We got no time for the distractions. We got no time for the bitterness, for the bickering. We got no time for all of the things that are not bringing us closer to our goals. We got no time for that, whether those financial goals, whether those are health goals, whether those relationship goals, whether those are parenting goals, whether those are business goals, whatever the goals are, educational goals, you want to learn a certain thing by a certain time, you ain't got time for that other stuff. Like, we have to develop that mindset that I ain't got time for that. If it ain't moving me closer to where I want to be, in the words of the great goddess, Sweet Brown, I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's a fact, right? Peace and love, brother Seth Sanko, for tuning in from Artel Hotel, Bedford, Brooklyn, Stuyvesant. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Rise and grind to the good foundation. Peace and love, peace and love. Let's move right along to our second segment of the day, because we ain't got time for that, but we got time for this. Yo, I love you guys. Second segment, need to know news of the day, man. Absolute not so much disturbing news, but news that is not necessarily good news, right? It involves one of my partners, one of my new partners, partner one time developing an ongoing partnership, Ben & Jerry's. The CEO of Ben & Jerry's was fired by their parent company Unilever for their political activism. And if you know, one of the reasons I love Ben & Jerry's, and one of the reasons, like, once I found out a few years ago that Ben & Jerry's had a huge background in social activism, I was like, this is a company I got to mess with. And I continued to buy their ice cream, and as fate would have it, met one of the chief administrators, and now we have a partnership, and we're developing further, right? But yeah, let's go to this article and let's read from NPR. Ben & Jerry's alleges its CEO is fired over its political activism. Here's the scoop. This is March 20th, 2025. This is yesterday afternoon by Rachel Traceman. Ben & Jerry's is accusing parent company Unilever of ousting its CEO in retaliation for its social media activism, the latest escalation in a long-running battle over the ice cream maker's independence. The Vermont-based company and 5 directors of its independent board originally sued Unilever in its U.S. subsidiary, Canopco, in federal court in November 2024, alleging the companies has silenced its attempts to show public support for Palestinian refugees, among other causes. Ben & Jerry's said those actions violate its 2000 merger agreement, which created the independent board and gave it primary responsibility for social mission, priorities, and the essential integrity of the brand. The company has a well-documented history of outspoken advocacy, supporting causes from racial and climate justice to campaign finance reform to what it calls its progressive, nonpartisan social mission. So you gotta love Ben & Jerry's. Like, if you don't love Ben & Jerry's, like, you gotta love Ben & Jerry's, man. I don't know what's up with you. In an amended complaint filed in the Southern District of New York on Tuesday, Ben & Jerry's accused Unilever of continuing to censor its social media posts, including about Black History Month and free speech, and waging a campaign of professional reprisals, culminating in the abrupt removal of its CEO. Contrary to their obligations under Section 6.14, Unilever has repeatedly threatened Ben & Jerry's personnel, including CEO David Stever, should they fail to comply with Unilever's efforts to silence the social mission. It reads, this month, Unilever followed through with their threats. Ben & Jerry's said Unilever executives announced Stever's removal on March 3rd for reasons unrelated to his job performance and without following the steps outlined in the merger agreement. A spokesperson for Unilever told NPR in a statement that decisions on the appointment, compensation, and removal of the Ben & Jerry's CEO will be made by Unilever after good faith consultation and discussion with the B&J's independent board, in line with the merger agreement. Regrettably, despite repeated attempts to engage the board and follow the correct process, we are disappointed that the confidentiality of an employee career conversation has been made public, the company added. We hope that the B&J independent board will engage as per the original agreed process. Ben & Jerry says Unilever ignored the merger agreement stipulation that it consult with an advisory committee from the board before making any decisions about the removal of a CEO. Unilever announced their decision before the committee had even been appointed and attempted to force the independent board into rubber stamping the decision by unilaterally dictating artificial and hasty deadlines. It wrote, accusing Unilever of giving the board only 4 days to respond and refusing its request for access to materials. Stever was named CEO in May 2023, more than 3 decades after joining the company as a tour guide. Ben & Jerry says that under his tenure, it outperformed Unilever's ice cream portfolio and was ranked number 2 on the brand 500 Authenticity Index 2 years in a row. Dope. Even so, the lawsuit alleges that Unilever executives chastised Stever in his January 2025 performance review for repeatedly acquiescing to the demands of the Independent Social Mission Board by permitting certain social media posts. On information and belief, Unilever's motive for removing Mr. Stever is his commitment to Ben & Jerry's social mission and essential brand integrity, and his willingness to collaborate in good faith with the independent board, rather than any genuine concerns regarding his performance history, the complaint reads. In response, Unilever has filed a motion to dismiss Ben & Jerry's complaint, saying its claims are without merit because independent board members do not have the right to bring lawsuits on behalf of the company, and also did not specify the damages that resulted from Unilever's alleged actions. It says the current dispute is a direct result of the board's decision to opine on the Israel-Palestinian conflict without any regard to the negative impact on both companies. Yo, this is tough, man. All they care about is their profit and their bottom line, and they do not want to be seen as conflicting. Right? That's what it sounds like to me. Unilever continues to support B&J's in its Ben & Jerry's and its social advocacy work. It wrote in its response. Over time, the social mission of Ben & Jerry's shifted, but in recent years, it has come to a head as Ben & Jerry's seeks to advocate for one-sided, highly controversial, and polarizing topics that put Unilever, Ben & Jerry's, and their employees at risk. I wonder, right, when I read stuff like this and when I hear news like this, I wonder, it's just a thought. I wonder if Ben & Jerry's was pro-Israel, right? And if they talked about pro-Israel, would this be an issue? If they talked about just releasing hostages in Israel or the hostages that so-called Hamas had from Israel, would this be an issue? I often wonder, right? Like Kanye said. When did the feud begin? The last few years have been a rocky road for Ben & Jerry's and Unilever. In 2021, Ben & Jerry's announced it would stop selling its ice cream in the Israeli-occupied Palestinian territories, calling that practice inconsistent with our values. Excuse me. That decision prompted multiple lawsuits in the U.S. and Israel, accusations of anti-Semitism, and the divestment of hundreds of millions of dollars in Unilever stock. Unilever said in its Wednesday court filing, so what? Unilever said in this week's legal filing that it continues to suffer the consequence of Ben & Jerry's decision to this day, saying it remains on anti-boycott lists in at least 9 states and is under a fatwa in Indonesia. In 2022, Unilever sold its intellectual property rights to its Israeli distributor, which then put the products with Hebrew and Arabic labeling only back on shelves in the West Bank. Ben & Jerry's then sued Unilever, accusing it of bypassing its board with business decisions. The 2022 lawsuit ended with a settlement about which details have been scarce until Ben & Jerry's filed its November 2024 lawsuit. Absolutely, man. Go, Ben & Jerry's. Stand up for yourself. I like these guys more and more. The more I read about these guys, the more I hear about these guys, the more these guys are engaged, the more I'm like just really, really, really inspired, man. This is guts. That lawsuit said the 2022 settlement agreement requires Unilever to, quote unquote, respect and acknowledge the Ben & Jerry's independent board's primary responsibility over Ben & Jerry's social mission and essential brand integrity, and, quote unquote, work in good faith with the independent board to ensure that both are protected and furthered. Both are protected and furthered. I love these guys. I can't say it enough. I got to email them back today and get another meeting so we can go forward with developing this partnership. We're going to do some cool things this spring and summer at Ben & Jerry's, New Jersey and Connecticut. We're going to spread out. We're going to branch out. We're going to do some things in other places, man. It's going to be dope. That lawsuit says the 2022 settlement agreement requires Unilever to, and it causes Unilever, I got ahead of myself and got lost. And it accuses Unilever of failing to do so in the years since, citing various threats, reprisals, and censorship. What are the social media posts at issue? Ben & Jerry's alleges that Unilever has silenced its social media activism in direct violation of the settlement on multiple occasions. It says Unilever blocked 4 posts in support of peace and human rights about the Israel-Hamas war and ensuing humanitarian crises in Gaza in the span of 6 months. The first example was a post calling for peace and a permanent ceasefire in December 2023. Unilever threatened to dismantle the independent board and sue the board members individually if Ben & Jerry's, with its decades-long motto of peace, love, and ice cream, issued the statement supporting peace and a ceasefire, the lawsuit says. It says Unilever also stopped the Ben & Jerry's social media managers from posting in support of Palestinian refugees in May 2024. The lawsuit says Unilever executives took issue with the statement because it, quote unquote, coincided with the Iranian missile attack on Israel. When the matter was escalated to me, I expressed concerns about the continued perception of anti-Semitism that is a persistent issue. Peter Turkel, Unilever's president of ice cream, wrote to the board, according to his lawsuit. It was my judgment that in light of the timing and nature of the post, it was not an appropriate message at this time. Another example, Ben and Jerry says, was a blog post supporting campus protesters' First Amendment rights in June 2024. Unilever said in its legal filing that it had raised reasonable concerns about the need to condemn the violence associated with the protests and support rights of Jewish students as well. Ben and Jerry's lawsuit accuses Unilever of censoring posts on other topics, including one for Inauguration Day that identifies several social issues Ben and Jerry's believed would be challenged under President Trump, including minimum wage, universal health care, abortion, and climate change. The company alleges that Unilever blocked it after weeks of work because it mentioned Trump by name. These people are scared, man. These people be scared. We almost done with the article, guys. It says in recent weeks, Unilever prevented it from issuing a post commemorating Black History Month and another supporting free speech and the linking to a petition for the release of Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia University graduate detained by U.S. immigration authorities over his role in pro-Palestinian campus protests. Unilever has denied muzzling the board, writing in its motion that members, quote unquote, have hardly been silent. It listed instances in which board members released statements, such as calling for a ceasefire and supporting campus protesters, to media outlets, including Reuters and Financial Times, and on their personal social media accounts. I want to get more in touch with these people from Ben & Jerry's, man. Like I said, I got some contacts. I want more contacts. I want to get involved. What happens next? Ben & Jerry's also accuses Unilever of blocking its donations to two organizations, Jewish Voice for Peace and the Council on American Islamic Relations. Unilever says it exercised its rights to withhold consent to donate after researching the organizations and finding that they had made inflammatory comments about Hamas' October 7th attack on Israel. Ben & Jerry's is asking the court to order Unilever to release funds to those organizations in addition to unspecified damages. It also asked the court to order Unilever to prospectively respect and acknowledge the independent board's authority and comply with the merger agreement's rules around appointing and removing a CEO. It also hopes the court will ensure that any restructuring of Ben & Jerry's or its parents does not eliminate or diminish the authority of the board. That restructuring is not hypothetical. Unilever announced last May that it would separate its ice cream unit, including Ben & Jerry's, into a separate business as part of a restructuring expected to be completed by the end of 2025. Ben & Jerry's lawsuit says Unilever told the board on March 5th that the restructuring was imminent. Holy cow. Principles over profits. Absolutely. Let's go, Ben & Jerry's. Trump must work for the company that fired. Trump must work. Yo, for real, right? Like, that sounds a little crazy. That's super wild. Super wild. James Stewart, what's going on, my brother? What's going on, my brother? James Stewart from California, out there in LA, up bright and early, tuned in to SRDaily. I appreciate you, my brother. Rich, Royal, Rise and Supreme Bliss, rise up within and surrounding family. Let's go. But yo, that's crazy. Crazy. I had to share that with you guys. Again, I love Ben & Jerry's as a brand, as a product, and as Tupac said, as a mother effing crew. And if you want to be down with, if you don't want to be down with Ben & Jerry's, if you want to be down with Unilever and Trump and the crew, then F you too. But yo, let's keep reading move right along to our third segment of the day. Today's third segment, as always, is our tip of the day. Tip, very important tip, very special tip, very necessary tip, man. Mentor someone, somebody, whether it's your own children, your neighbor's children, your nephews, your nieces, other adults. Find somebody that you can mentor. There are tons and tons of people out there looking for guidance. They're looking for business guidance. They're looking for health guidance. They're looking for relationship guidance. They're looking for all types of guidance and support and mentorship. Mentor somebody. And don't make it about money. Don't just coach somebody for money. Mentor somebody. Find somebody who you love and respect, who love and respects you, who you want to help, and mentor them. Give them free information. Give them free knowledge. Give them free wisdom. Spend time with them freely. Pay for their lunch. Do things like that. Mentor somebody. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody needs somebody to guide them. That was one of the talks that came up yesterday in the grief support group. It was like everybody needs wise counsel. And that's part of my 4 C's of master success. Counsel. Counsel. You need counsel. We all need counsel. We all need somebody we could call when things get a little heavy, when things get a little hectic, when things get a little confusing. And be like, hey, what do you think about this decision? Hey, what do you think about this thing? I'm going to make this move. What do you think? Right? What are your thoughts? We all need somebody like that. All of us. So, like, I'm sure you had a mentor. I'm sure you had somebody to mentor you in some capacity. So mentor somebody. I know your schedule may be busy. It doesn't have to be every week. It could be once a month. You spend time with your mentee, right? It could be a phone call a month. It could be whatever you want it to be. It could be whatever it has to be. But mentor someone. That is my tip. Find somebody to mentor. I mentor a couple of people weekly, right? I'm going to reach out to one young brother that really I think really needs my mentorship, and like we're gonna work on a schedule and do something way more regularly. Right. But yeah, mentor somebody, right? Like, don't hold information, don't hold your skills, right? Everyone has a skill set, everyone has a knowledge that somebody else could benefit from. So share it. Don't hold it. Don't gatekeep. Don't be the gatekeeper. Don't be that person. Like, spread the love, yo. Facts, right? Let's move right along to our fourth and final segment of the day. Fourth segment. Peace and love, brother Sefu. Happy Freedom Friday. Mona Love. Happy Freedom Friday. Sefu said earlier, principle over profits. Happy Freedom Friday. Absolutely. Fourth and final segment of the day before we get out of here and wrap this thing up, man, is our build of the day. It's a build regarding my news, right? Mona Love and I got engaged. I proposed to her publicly on Friday, last Friday, my birthday event, even in front of my friends, my family, her brother, her sister, her children. Right, 2 of her children, one of her, a few of her siblings, few of her family members. And so the question is, right, because somebody said, yo, that was quick. I'm very happy for you, but that was fast. I'm like, okay, we've been dating 8 months, right? Been dating about 8 months now, right? 7, 8 months. Known each other for a little over a year now. Met in January last year. Kept it 100% platonic. I was involved. She was involved. But as life would have it, months later, neither one of us were involved. We connected. We started chatting more regularly, 100% friendly, 100% platonically, just sharing similar interests from health, right? Diet, fast, both being vegan, both into fasting, right? Both parents, right? Both obviously formerly divorced. All of the different things, right? All of the different things that we've chatted about built up. It built a relationship. A relationship was built. We didn't just jump into a relationship. It was built, started as platonic, then went into friendship, like as platonic acquaintances. Then a friendship was developed, and now a relationship, and now we're getting married, right? In a little bit of time, right? It's not gonna be forever, right? I don't, you know me, I don't wait too long, but like, I get some things in order so I can make her my wife and make her life a lot easier, right? But the build is, how long should folks date before getting married? If you telling me being with somebody for 7, 8 months is a long time, or it's quick rather, to know if I want to marry that person. So how long should people date before getting married? Should they live together before getting married? We don't live together. We spend a lot of time together. We're at my place a few days a week, and we're at her place a few days a week, right? So we're together, right? Yeah, we don't live together every day, all day, but we are together a lot of times every day, all day, morning, noon, and night. We leave, come back, right? Like, but yeah, so let's talk about it, right? Like, I personally don't think there's a time frame, right, for these things. I think when you know, and obviously it's up to the individuals and the couples to determine when and how, right? But like, I really want to get you guys, like, is there a time frame for when you're dating somebody that you know when you want to get married? Sefu said, I remember my mother signed me up for Big Brothers. She knew I needed a mentor. Long live the spirit of Patricia Ann Brown. Absolutely. Long live the spirit of Patricia Ann Brown. That is in regards to the tip of finding someone to mentor. And then my love said, when you know, you know. Absolutely. I agree. Right. Because there are people who wait 5 years, 10 years to get married. Right. And then they get married and it falls apart. There are people who never get married, who want to get married, but they're with somebody and they never get married. Right? Because, women who are with men, women want to get married, the man doesn't want to get married, they never get married. Right? Like, miserable. A lot of miserable situations out there. But we both knew, right? We spoke about it before my birthday. I let her know that I plan to marry her. I let her children know that I plan to marry her. I let them know my plans for their mother, right? I'm not just here to, like, be that guy, right? Who just wants to hit it and quit it, who just wants to come around. And no, like, I'm a family man and I'm building a legacy and I'm committed to that, right? And so, yeah, like, why not? Why not? Why keep waiting? If I know, why keep waiting? Now, I understand the idea of waiting to actually be married, right? When you have certain things in order, especially as a man who, looking back, I would say, when I got married, my ex-wife, I didn't have a really strong foundation. A lot of things I didn't have in order that I feel a husband or a father should have in order, right? Now I have some of those things in order and some other things I need to get more in order, right? Like, so I'm not getting married tomorrow, right? But it's not going to take 5 years, neither, right? So, like, when I agree with that. And yeah, man, so, like, just follow your heart. All right. Everybody always gonna say something about something. So, like, don't listen to it. Don't let it bother you. Tap in, trust your process, trust your spirit, and do what's in your heart, man. Do what's in your heart. Go with what's in your heart. And yeah, so guys, that's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys once again. I'm your boy, your host, LaShawn Sugar Ray Marston. You're tuned into SRDaily episode 328. 320 episodes. We are just 72 episodes away from our next milestone episode, which will be episode 400. That's going to be big. And then the next one after that, toward the end of the year, is going to be 500 episodes. 500 episodes independently is freaking massive. Inshallah, I live long enough to make it happen. I intend to live long enough to make it happen. Anything can happen, but my goal is to keep living, to keep getting healthier, to see 500 episodes, to see 1,000 episodes. All right, but once we hit 500, things should be picking up because the other shows, Sugar Ray Show, is going to be going, and we're going to be rocking this thing. But listen, guys, I love you. I appreciate you. I want you all a beautiful, blessed Friday, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. It's going to be a beautiful weekend for the most part on the East Coast. Today, New York City, almost 60 degrees. Tomorrow, 60 degrees. Beautiful time. And enjoy the time. Be safe. Be well. Take care of yourself. And I look forward to seeing you guys Monday. We're right back here Monday. Same time, same place, 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and TikTok Live is going down. Monday's episode 329 as we go forth into week 67. I'm super excited, super grateful. Remember, it ain't getting knocked down. That's the problem. It's staying down. So get up. The power is in you. As always, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. I love you guys. Peace.